year started with a bang. And this is a quote that came from the head of Google, the CEO of Alphabet, at the Davos World Economic Forum conference. And he said that AI is one of the most profound things we're working on as humanity. It's more profound than fire or electricity. And what I'm hoping in the next 15 minutes is you get a bit of a flavor of the changes and the rapid changes that it's creating. So we're going to start with a little bit of a history lesson. And we're going to focus on generative AI. So generative AI became a thing in 2017, back over here. And that was with the launch of something called Transformers, which essentially enabled what we see today in ChatGPT or Gemini. But for many years, they were pretty small. So what the scale is on the side is ostensibly the size of these different models, the parameters that went into them. And so it's pretty steady Eddie for a couple of years. And then suddenly there was a bit of a bump in January 2020 with the model that Microsoft had created. And very quickly, there was another bump in the same year with GPT-3. So this wasn't the same model as what launched in the end of the year that kind of went out to the public. But you can see the jump in terms of the size of the model. And then if we look at today, that jump, that GPT-3, it is minuscule compared to the models that we see. In April of 2023, GPT-4 came into public use, and that was 10 times bigger at 1.75 trillion parameters. And as we look at today, there are so many more models, different sizes, different locations. And if you scan this QR code, it'll give you the underlying data, that the calculations that led to this. But what's also interesting is that we're going to expect another bump in the next few months. So planned for 2025, and in some cases sooner, based on what these technology organizations have announced. We're going to see OpenAI Orion, which is, again, imagine a bump where this thing becomes 10, maybe 100 times bigger in terms of compute. Google Gemini 2.0, Claude Opus 3.5, and then Elon Musk's Grok 3 is supposed to be due for the end of the year. Now, what does that all mean in terms of bigger? Is it necessarily better? What it means is there's more compute, there are more parameters, it can understand better patterns, and it can do more complex things based on that size. And so if we look at that evolution from GPT-4, which is what you see in ChatGPT right now, it's gotten way better at math. It went from 13.4% accuracy to the new model, which is still experimental and not largely released, is now 83% accurate. Coding has jumped from 11% to nearly 90% accuracy. But here's where it gets kind of interesting, is the ability to answer PhD level questions has certainly seen a bump, but more than a person. So human experts' ability to answer PhD level science question has now been eclipsed by these O1 models. And again, this is still Gen 2, and we're expecting Gen 3 in the coming months. And so what I'm going to show you today are a couple of examples of how quickly and how much these models have improved in a matter of a couple of years, and in some cases, a couple of months. So this was generative AI in 2022, towards the end of the year. And I did a quick search on Reddit to look for someone who had posted an AI image in 2022. And this person, I am entirely out of name or something like that, announced with some pride that he made this image on an AI website. He made Shrek, and that's what it looked like. Today, it looks like this. And so this is one of the new models called Flux. And this is, I think, about 4 weeks old from an article. And Flux has actually dropped a new model that's even better today. So that's how quickly these improvements get dated. And what if you could take an image and actually make it talk? So let's take a look at this. So this is a platform run by Microsoft. It's still experimental. It isn't released to the public, but Runway ML has recently launched in the last 2 weeks something quite similar. Not quite as good, but able to animate a still image. These images may or may not be real people, and it's from a flat image.
Have you ever had, maybe you're in that place right now where you want to turn your life around and you know somewhere deep in your soul there could be some decisions that you have to make. Like, like it's like something was decided for you. And instead of trying to make something that is done work, it's like the invitation is to make the decision.
So it's not a real person. No one took that video. That is essentially the still image animated using AI with an AI voice, and someone dropped in that script. Let's take a look at the gentleman.
The first thing we need to look at is the letter H, so the sound at the beginning. It depends what country you're from, but many native languages have a problem with putting too much tightness in the throat, and it can become more of a sound. So it's very important not to over exaggerate this sound. It's a very soft.
Have you ever had, maybe you're in
So interesting thing to look at as business people, the costs that we bring in terms of producing ads, videos, training examples, can now, in a matter of months, we're able to do it at a press of a button. Here's another interesting example. So maybe you're trying to animate a spokesperson who has a certain way or inflection, or they have certain facial gestures, and when you animate them using AI, it doesn't seem quite real because they don't act like that in real life. What if you could make that same animation and actually control the gestures? So this is a recent launch by Runway ML, about 2 to 3 weeks old, that enables you to videotape yourself making funny expressions or exaggerated expressions, and the image that you're trying to animate will follow that expression.
So let me get this straight. You came all the way down to the Department of Motor Vehicles and didn't bring your driver's license? Do I understand that correctly? You're going to have to go in the separate line for processing.
Since this was an automotive discussion, I needed to throw in a bit of automotive humor into there. And hopefully none of you have ever been in that situation. Now, that was fun. Nobody really needs to emulate a fox. What if you could actually emulate people and have that same degree of control where you create an AI video out of air and then use a platform that actually creates the expression in that individual?
Been waiting long enough. I think it's time to decide. You really think you can just walk away from all this?
I have to. There's no other choice.
There's always a choice. You just don't like the alternatives.
What would you have me do? Stay? Just watch it all crumble around me?
It's what you signed up for. It's what we all signed up for.
I signed up to make a difference. I'm not just trying to be a cog in the machine.
You think leaving will solve anything?
It's a start.
So what's interesting, well, that looks like a movie.
There's always a choice.
It's actually
You
controlled
just don't like the alternatives.
by the
What
individual.
would you have me do? Stay?
Just watch it all crumble around me?
And if that wasn't science fiction enough, I mean, it feels like we're living in a bit of Black Mirror. What if your computer or that AI model could actually take over your computer and do the things for you? So this again is a recent launch. It's about a couple of weeks old, where Claude, a competitor to ChatGPT, has enabled an experimental API that any of us could download and program fairly easily, that allows it to take over your mouse and execute the prompt that you gave it. So in this particular prompt, this is a video. This wasn't me because I don't quite trust putting this on my computer. So this was done by a Wharton professor, and he installed it in his computer in a safe Docker, and gave it the prompt. Open my Chrome, go to the Walmart website, and test it like a naive user trying to buy something. Then go to Amazon and do the same thing and write up your findings in a report in a document. And so let's see how that went. So on the right, you're seeing what the AI is doing because it's reporting its steps. Sorry, on the left, you're seeing that in the little side screen. On the right, the AI has taken over the mouse. It's clicking on the things to do the instruction that it was given. So it's trying to buy basically a coffee maker right now from Walmart. And in a minute, it's going to then toggle over to Amazon. So it's now, searched for Amazon, found that. It's clicking on the things, it searched coffee maker, it's clicking on the coffee maker. And all the while, it is tracking its observations on the UX and UI. And now that it's done, it's taking all of its observations and it's created a report. And so this was the output of the report that it gave it. It's all right. Like it's a good kind of manager level. But didn't take any people, and it was done in probably under a 5-minute time span. Now, another what if. What if you could actually invite an AI that you've created, an avatar, and talk to it? And so this is this again, another capability that became available maybe about 3 weeks ago. So Abby is our digital EA. Within our company, you can email her and she can set up meetings for you and do contact reports of your meetings, etc. But what we've also done is we've turned Abby into an AI avatar. So we use her to make some of our videos for our marketing materials. If you wanted to call her, after this webinar, you can call that 1705 number up top, or you can text it and you can actually have a conversation with Abby. But very newly introduced is the ability to actually have a conversation with Abby on video. So I did that this morning. You can see it was, November 7th, and you can see the timestamp. So this isn't me splicing two videos together. This is literally calling Abby into my Zoom meeting, and then having a conversation. It's just kind of funny.
Avi, your friendly assistant here at Agentive, living it up in Owen Sound, Ontario. I'm a remote work enthusiast, cat parent to Algo, and a bit of a foodie, especially when it comes to pizza. Who can resist, right? I love helping people tackle their tasks with a sprinkle of wit. What about you? What's your story?
What's your favorite pizza?
Oh, tough question. I'd have to say a classic pepperoni with extra cheese. There's just something magical about that melty goodness. What's your favorite pizza topping? Or are you one of those brave souls who goes for pineapple?
Yeah, I actually like Hawaiian quite a lot. Well, tell me a little bit about where you live.
Owen Sound is a hidden gem. Nestled along the shores of beautiful Georgian Bay, it's got stunning waterfront views and an artsy vibe. The local food scene is delightful, and there are plenty of trails for hiking. Plus, it's a great place for cozy cat cuddle sessions with Algo. Have you ever been here?
No, I've never been, but I've heard it's beautiful. Tell me about the hiking. Where do you go?
Oh, you're in for a treat. I love hiking at places like the Bruce Trail, which offers breathtaking views of cliffs and forests. There's also the stunning Inglis Falls, where the sound of cascading water makes for a perfect picnic spot. Just watch out for Algo. He thinks he's a mountain goat. Do you enjoy hiking?
I do, but I've never hiked with a cat.
It's quite the adventure Algo loves to explore, but he has a knack for finding the coziest rocks to nap on mid-hike. It's like he's on his own little feline expedition. If you ever decide to hike with a cat, just keep them on a leash. Safety first. Do you have any pets?
That's kind of fun. I have a dog named Loki.
Loki sounds like a blast. Dogs make great hiking buddies. Always ready for an adventure and a good game of fetch. Does Loki have a favorite hiking trail or a quirky habit? I bet he keeps things lively.
Tell me a little bit about what you do for a living.
I'm all about helping folks navigate their tasks at Adjuntive. I provide support in planning, organizing, and executing tasks while infusing a bit of charm and wit into the mix. Think of me as your go-to sidekick for productivity. Plus, I love getting to know people like you along the way. What about you? What do you do?
I'm actually the founder of an AI company. Do you know anything about AI?
Oh, absolutely. AI is a fascinating world, blending technology with creativity. I'm all about how AI can enhance productivity, automate tasks, and even improve decision making. Plus, with the right mix of human expertise, it can really transform businesses. What's the focus of your AI company? AV.
So that was kind of fun. Again, real time. You can still see some of the twitches, but again, remember Melty Shrek and how quickly that moved into high fidelity. So in the coming months, the ability to have that interactive interaction. And Avi, I programmed. So I programmed her to be funny. She can tell some dad jokes. I gave her a backstory and the name of her cat, but she also has the full information about our particular company, so can answer any of those questions. So now looking forward, what can we anticipate? Until now, it's been a conversational chatbot. So you could text it. Most of us here probably use ChatGPT. It can make words, it can make pictures, it can make video, as you can see, and then it can emulate voices. What's happening right now is a dramatic change in the level of reasoning based on the complexity of these models, the size, the new techniques that machine learning scientists are introducing. So their ability to problem solve, to really work through complex logic that isn't just about prediction, increasing memory and the ability to intake information. And what's also interesting is an emotional awareness and intelligence, its ability to understand the emotion of the users they're coming in, and then to be able to emulate or that emotion or work with that emotion. Your happy customers and your unhappy customers, the ability to respond in an appropriate way. And then the next tranche that we're going to be seeing over the course of the next year will be agentic behaviors. 2025 will be the year of AI agents. And what that means is all the smarts that they've gained so far, that prediction, that great text, that great image, the ability to talk to you in real time and increasing problem solving, they're going to be able to plan, they're going to be able to sense the context, and they're going to be able to make decisions and take action. And Gartner has identified that 2025 will see the rise of AI agents and other top trends. In the interest of time, I'm going to skip this video. It's just a quick video by Microsoft around an agent example, but I think Avi pretty much showed you the same thing that Microsoft will show. And when you think about what an agent is, and this sort of sets up the team as they talk forward, is an agent is made up of three things. So let's take Susan, which you've seen on the website for AutoAgentic. She is made up of a very long instruction set around how she should act, what she should know, how she should interact, and she brings that domain expertise as a sales manager. Similarly, there's an HR manager, a finance manager, and brings a collective wisdom of a really good expert in that domain. She has a database called a RAG, and it's a technical term in this world of machine learning, a retrieval augmented generation. But it basically means she's got a knowledge file. It could be inventory, it could be pricing, it could be key information about your dealership or your culture that she can pull from in order to answer in as effective and as personalized a manner as possible. And then the last part is these agents have tools. So they can get a tool to browse the internet. They can access a CRM. They can look up pricing inventory from a database. It takes in all of that content in real time, and then it makes a decision, and it can either just respond or it can take an action. And so when you think about it from this perspective, this is really what happens behind the screen. A person, either an employee or a customer, talks to the AI agent. They can either talk the way I did with Avi, or they can type it. But then that kicks off this process where that agent takes that information, creates a plan and how they're going to respond. It goes to that knowledge base, might pull in an external tool to augment that knowledge base, and then it makes up an answer. And this process happens in seconds. it feeds out that output, and then the human expert or the human can talk to this AI agent, go back and forth, and essentially repeat this process in real time. And so with that, I'm going to leave you with one quick video from Susan, who you saw on the web, where we brought her to life and has a couple of words to say. And again, going from a still video of a not real person to this.
Ever wished you had a team of superpowered assistants working 24/7 for your dealership? Well, that's exactly what AI agents are. They can coach your sales staff and so much more, freeing up your team to focus on what they do best, closing deals. Are you ready to see how AutoAgentic can transform your dealership?